select the model's lips, for example, I can isolate those and just give her just a little bit more of a smile.
So this is the iPad Pro, the new, much bigger version. This is 12.9 inches across. And one of the interesting things about the iPad this time is that, as well as being bigger, it comes with a couple of key accessories. Now, the first one is this. It's a detachable keyboard. It's very similar to the keyboard on the Microsoft Surface, of course, if you've seen that. And I connect the iPad Pro using these three connectors, which Apple calls its smart connectors. And once I plonk it on there, the idea is that I can sit back and use this like I would like a netbook or something similar. So the other key accessory is this, the Apple Pencil. Now, some will joke that Apple have reinvented the pencil, but this is actually quite smart. There's a charging thing on the bottom here, so you can charge it up. And what I'm able to do with this is take the iPad like this, and then say, for example, take this this pen here, and I can draw on it like that. Now, where this is perhaps smarter than other stylus that are out there on the market is that it's very good at detecting precisely how hard I'm pressing. It also knows what angle I'm pressing, so I can shade in and do various patterns just like that. And what Apple hopes is that real creative people, people that are a bit more artistic than me, might start using this pencil to create some of their designs.
Now, because these new iPhones are absolutely beautiful, the most incredible iPhones we've ever made. This is the brand new rose gold aluminum finish. And while it may look the same, this is an entirely new aluminum. It is an Apple custom alloy of 7000 series aluminum, the same alloys that are used in the aerospace industry. The new iPhone 6s comes in 4 metal finishes: silver, gold, space gray, and the new rose gold.
And an all-new iPhone 6s Plus, and it's in the rose gold color, which is so the big deal with the 6s Plus in terms of what you're going to deal with every day is the camera. And so if we open up the camera, it's a 12 megapixel camera, and I can take a shot here. And you know, this is very good lighting, so presumably it's pretty good. But one of the cool things is it's a live shot, so if I force touch on the screen, it shows the moment before and after I took the photo, which leads me to the second tap. It brings up context menus, and so you can do things like peek into messages, peek into web pages without having to change apps, or you know, jump right into submenus from the home screen. So I'm going to take a selfie here, and in fact, I'm going to make sure the flash is on, and when I do that, you see that the screen actually flashed, that you have a two-tone flash from the Retina display itself on the Retina cam. So the front-facing camera is 5 megapixels. Again, on the back, it's 12 megapixels, which is
of 4K video. So in addition to your regular stills and 12 megapixel, you can also now shoot gorgeous 4K video. The samples that we've seen on the phones here so far have been pretty excellent. This is combined with combining 4K video with 3D or with optical image stabilization on this new display. You can see it's actually quite good. Probably won't translate because we're downgrading obviously 4K through a screen and through the camera, but you'll have to take my word for it, it's pretty solid. You can also zoom in on the video for the first time because there is enough resolution to do so. You'll notice it's still quite sharp, not a lot of artifacting or edging there. So that's the new 4K video. In addition to 4K video, Apple's also introduced a new type of camera format or image format that they're calling live photos. These live photos, if I open an image up here, will allow you to touch on the image and play back the moments just before and just after the image was taken. You do this using the new 3D touch display, which is sensitive to levels of pressure. And this is actually a single image file, 12 megapixel, with a sidecar file of motion before and after. It takes up roughly the same space as two 12 megapixel images in a standard format. This is an effect you can turn on and off. If you're shooting an image and your live photo icon is enabled here, then it will take a live photo. If it's disabled, it'll take a standard photo. So if you want to save space, you can turn it off. Otherwise, it'll take up about 2 images worth of space to shoot a live photo. Those live photos can be used, obviously, on the home screen as well. And if you force touch on your home screen, it will play back the same way it does in your photo library. You notice there's a sort of back and forth looping motion there. So that's the new live photos. Now, one of the other hardware upgrades is inside there's now sensors that determine the amount of pressure that you're putting on the screen. This enables new interactions with a technology they call 3D Touch. 3D Touch has essentially three levels of pressure. There's the standard tap, there is a press, and then there is a full press, or pop, they're calling it. On the home screen, these represent in sort of quick actions. And a quick action would enable you to say, touch on your music icon to immediately start playing Beats 1, or search for music, or play the last thing you were playing. If you use it on maps, you could get directions home. You can mark your location, or send a location, or start a search immediately, rather than having to dip directly into the app and search around for that feature. Same thing for phone. You can use this to send to people that you speak to regularly, your favorites. So those quick actions are accessible from the home screen. But these levels of touch are also present inside apps. So if we go to Messages, for instance, you'll see there's a number of actionable links here. Normally, we would tap on them and it would take us to Safari or somewhere else. But you can tap on the link and hold it down to do what's called a peek. And a peek will show you a pop-up window that runs Safari inside of it, allowing you to quickly look at what that link will display and then let it go away. If you'd like to actually read it fully and experience it in Safari like normal, you can pop it or press further, and you'll get it open in Safari just like normal. Apple's also added a small UI affordance up here, back to Messages, which will bring you right back to where you were. And this works with a variety of callouts. Here's a flight, and this flight gives us our flight schedule here through Apple's card system. And pop it open, and we get the full card that we can then take action on. You can also use a series of quick actions. So, for instance, if I wanted to open this up and slide up, I can copy that and then paste it somewhere else and send it to somebody. And once I swipe up, I can then tap that to take that action. Another example of this, in a URL, if I swipe up, I can add it to my reading list, just open the link in Safari or copy it. Drag it down and make it go away. If we open up Mail, it's another place we can see, for instance, here's an invitation to eat at a restaurant. So if I open my peek, I can see the potential place where that event might be. If I swipe up, I can create the event, or I can open my calendar. You'll see that right there. Of course, if I pop it, it just opens right in my calendar, and I can add it to my events schedule. So that's peek and pop, which are enabled by the 3D touch display.
Another brand new accessory specifically for iPad Pro. It looks like this. It's called Apple Pencil. And this Apple Pencil is packed with so much amazing new technology. We have a great video to tell you all about it now.
But it was the new Apple TV CEO Tim Cook seemed most excited about.
The television experience has been virtually standing still today. We are going to do something about that.
The new black box puts games and other apps on your television and a new way of searching just your voice. On your television and a new way of searching just your voice.
Show me Arnold Schwarzenegger movies. Look at that, it works.
You can call up a grid of every baseball game being played, go directly to any game, or see stats as you watch. There's also the iPad.
New bands. Photos from the event appear to show custom watch faces as well. Those will be in select stores starting in October. Apple Watch is getting 2 new finishes for all you lovers of bling, gold and rose gold, which will be the same price as existing sport models. As for those sport bands, new colors include pink, brown, and a variety of blues.
To constantly monitor where on the screen the tip is. It also measures angle. So if we pick a marker here, for instance, and we do a straight up and down stroke, you're going to get a regular thin line. And then if we angle it here, you'll get a nice broad stroke, just like you would if you were laying a marker down on its side on the broad edge. And then, of course, you'll see that there are in-between markers, so it's not binary. You get to kind of choose how much of that you lay down at once, which is actually quite stellar. So far, just using it for a few minutes, the ability of the stylus to accurately reflect the strokes that I'm making and to keep up with me is very, very impressive. I've used a variety of Wacom tablets, Cintiqs, and other drawing implements that all profess to kind of keep up with what you're doing, but very rarely have I found that they actually live up to their promise. This particular stylus, or pencil as they're calling it, is actually quite impressive. It has the feel of drawing on a Cintiq tablet, which is basically a very similar arrangement but thicker, larger, and more expensive. So that the fact that they managed to put a Retina display on here, keep the response time incredibly low. And
those will be in select stores starting in October. Apple Watch is getting 2 new finishes for all you lovers of bling, gold and rose gold, which will be the same price as existing sport models. As for those sport bands, new colors include pink, brown, and a variety of blues. Finally, Watch OS 2 will launch September 16th.
Nobody wants a stylus, so let's not use
Like a netbook or something similar. So the other key accessory is this, the Apple Pencil. Now some will joke that Apple have reinvented the pencil, but this is actually quite smart. There's a charging thing on the bottom here so you can charge it up, and what I'm able to do with this is take the iPad like this and then say, for example, take this this pen here, and I can draw on it like that. Now where this is perhaps smarter than other stylus that are out
select the model's lips, for example, I can isolate those and just give her just a little bit more of a smile.
So this is the iPad Pro, the new, much bigger version. This is 12.9 inches across. And one of the interesting things about the iPad this time is that, as well as being bigger, it comes with a couple of key accessories. Now, the first one is this. It's a detachable keyboard. It's very similar to the keyboard on the Microsoft Surface, of course, if you've seen that. And I connect the iPad Pro using these 3 connectors, which Apple calls its smart connectors. And once I plonk it on there, the idea is that I can sit back and use this like I would